The
Okay.
Leafs start off with Matt Murray not having a great period, to be honest. As all Leafs fans saying, everyone looked good that period except Matt Murray, as I cried in fantasy. But the Oilers just fall apart, man. And basically, if they win the cup, or if they lose, basically, I have a feeling this is what we're going to see from the Oilers the whole way there, and that is hoping to God that they can outscore their problems. Because last night they just fell apart. The moment our good friend Will Baldwin, noted Calgarian who hates the Oilers in the city of Edmonton, complimented them, and then they proceeded to completely
Um,
choke.
when I saw the text about the Mitch Marner goal, which I hadn't seen when I saw that text, I
What a
was
goal, by the
surprised.
way.
That was a nice goal. That was a nice goal. You can't not not applaud it. Yeah, no, it was a weird game. I mean, like the Oilers let washed John Tavares and
Oh
noted
man,
fourth line scrub Noel Achari scored 2 goals each. So
that was sarcasm for anyone who can't tell. By the way,
yeah. No, I mean like here's let's go with Matt Murray for a second here. The thing, this is what I've concluded. Remember, I said it a couple months ago, sorry, where that if Samsonov and Murray are like relatively close, that you go with Murray in the playoffs. Right? I think you kind of have to. But I don't think that's the case anymore.
no.
Like I don't think you can walk in to the playoffs and say Matt Murray is your starting goalie. I think to me, the thing with Matt Murray is he lets goals in bunches, it seems like he let in 3 in the first period last night. Like I can't, that's not gonna go well against Tampa. And when you've seen Samsonov not at his best, I mean, he it's not an excuse, but I think he's just clearly been tired when it's him and Joe Wall who has I don't know how many games of NHL experience. Like you're not running Joseph Wall out there every other night. So I think if you play this correctly, give Samsonov not every single game, and you start Samsonov in the playoffs, you're going to be fine. I just don't think it can be Matt Murray anymore.
You know, last episode, you and Al and Daniel, touched on the fact that it hasn't been great in Tampa lately. And there was a bit of a scare with Steven Stamkos, but it sounds like he's
Please,
going to be all right.
let's not go through that again.
I mean, listen, all I'll say is that we could be seeing the beginning of the end of the Tampa Bay Lightning's
Okay.
alleged
No.
dynasty.
Yeah.
Um,
No. Yeah, say
I'm
that.
I'm kidding.
Uh,
I'm kidding.
no,
I'm kidding.
yeah.
Um,
Yeah. Are they
but
tired? Is that what it
man,
is?
Elliot. But you just sort of if there's one team you don't want to give any sort of leg up on, it's the Tampa Bay Lightning, and that's the thing is Toronto. Listen, people were saying maybe they need to improve at the deadline with goaltending, and people were like, "Ah, you see Saros," and I was like, "Okay, let's be realistic here."
Yeah.
Samsonov has shown this year in Toronto that he's better than we always thought he was in Washington. Maybe you can argue the Leafs are a better defensive team than Washington were last year, and I think you can agree with that. Um, and listen, listen. This is a Team Samsonov podcast. Hashtag Team Samsonov. We got to be honest there. Listen, Matt Murray, I have not been a fan of for a couple of years now. Let's be honest here, and I
Yet you
am now
picked him up
having
on fantasy.
and I put that aside, and it has not been worth it, to be honest with you, Alex.
No.
Even though he ended up getting the win last night, but hey, Freddie Anderson, thank you, buddy, thank you last night for losing. I'm going to lose to Mike this week in fantasy.
What?
Fantastic, thanks, guys. Um,
Sorry, go ahead.
yeah, no, go Sammy. He's the better goalie. Like there's no question anymore. Go get him.
Like I was gonna say with Samsonov, I think you look at what he is as a goalie, and to me, he's not a guy again, and this is an extremely common occurrence in the NHL now. He's not a guy who's going to play 60 plus games. It's just not going to happen. But I think one of the issues that they've had with Samsonov this year, and the reason why it's March and he looks tired, other than the fact that he had the stomach flu or whatever, he had the flu, I think. I don't know if it was a stomach flu, but it sounded like it. But from a couple weeks ago, is because Matt Murray's going down or has gone down multiple times this year. I feel like when they have to run out Samsonov, and he's played 33 games this year, is they're running him out in bunches because they don't have the opportunity to go Samsonov, Murray, like switching back and forth as often. There's been times where you're literally running out Samsonov for multiple games, then saying, okay, Joseph Wall, you play the back-to-back.
Mm-hmm.
Or, okay, ex goalie, you play the back-to-back. So they haven't, I feel like they've had a very limited time in actually doing what Samsonov is good at, which is being part of a platoon. Like they just haven't had a big opportunity to run him out in that case.
I think that's a good point. I think that's a good point. Um, Something else, big game from, well, yeah, the whole big four, to be honest with you. Mentioned Tavares. Marner's goal was disgusting.